Now Mr. Meshwa, कौन start कर रहे हैं?
Okay, good evening to all, respected principal madam and my dear colleagues. As per the guidelines of COE CBSE, whenever any workshop or seminar is conducted and any teacher participates in seminar or workshop, after coming from there, it is necessary that everyone will conduct in-house session in their own school so that the learning outcome can be shared and that can be implemented among the students. So we have already this time in this month July, 12 teachers from our school participated in CBSE seminar and workshop on different topics. That we have already made the schedule for 4 Sundays. 3 teachers each Sunday we shall give our presentation. And today is the first stage of presenting in-house session. And today I request and welcome to Mr. P.K. Mishra sir, P.K. Singh sir, and Menka madam. And our time was from 4 to 6 actually, but due to meeting, the time may be less, so they have to manage accordingly. But rest of the session in next Sunday, accordingly, the time given in the schedule earlier, it will be conducted. So first of all, I request P.K. Mishra sir, he should come and start his presentation. P.K. Mishra sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you start.
Good evening, everyone. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay. So, welcome you all in this program that is as per the instruction of our principal madam. We are getting chance to participate in participation. Some main important things I have noted down and I tried to make our PowerPoint presentation. So I want to show this PowerPoint presentation. So I want to share my screen. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can discuss something clearly. As we can see our screen, sir, it is visible for all? Sir, my screen is not visible yet?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, thank you. So, first we were discussed there what actually life skill is. So life skills are the abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enable humans to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of life. As you see in my screen, I have indicated here 10 core life skills which is suggested by World Health Organization. And here these life skills are divided into 10 core parts. That is, all the core parts are visible in my screen. That is self-awareness, critical thinking, creative thinking, problem solving, decision making, coping with stress, managing emotions, empathy, self-awareness, and interpersonal skill, and one more is that is effective communication. These 10 life skills, if we apply these in our teaching learning session of classes, definitely we can solve many problems of our student also, as well as we will get benefited over there if we apply these life skills. So I have got chance to participate in one of the basic segment there, that is critical thinking. So I come to the critical thinking segment now. So let us know first what are the two types of thinking. As it is visible in my screen, one is critical thinking, another is creative thinking. And there is a wide difference between the two, which I have shown in my slide. As critical thinking comprises of and evaluating the problem and give reasoning to the problem. And creative thinking, when applies there, we get the new ideas. So along with that critical thinking and creative thinking, we can solve our problem. We can ultimately reach to the problem solving and decision making. That is one of the important core segments of life skill. Now, let us see one statement is written on my screen. Some people study all their life, and at their death, they have learned everything except to think. So, my friends, tell me, do you agree with this statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you want to share, if you are agree, can you justify?
When it comes of life skill, when it comes of, because without thinking, no one can do anything in life. But when we come of life skill, there are two kinds of thinking. When we are very conscious to think about something, and some kind of thing when we are in subconscious state doing the things or not doing the things. Here it means thinking means consciously doing the things in order to be behaviorally very, very effective in our approach. This is actually thinking here.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you. So, we are basically 95% of us, I'm accepting 5%, but basically more segment of us, they agree with this statement. I am proceeding now. Critical thinking. Why it is important? What is it? And how does it improve teaching and learning? So we shall discuss one by one these question. Why it is important? What is it? And how does it improve teaching and learning? We shall proceed. Let us first know what actually critical thinking is. So what my screen is showing, that is the definition, that critical thinking is a self-directed process by which we take deliberate steps to think at the highest level of quality. Some points are here given with the red color, so they have some wider prospect, they have some wider meaning. We shall discuss further. Yes. Now come to the definition. Actually, as per that statement, what the definition or the concrete one comes out, that is, critical thinking is skillful, responsible thinking that facilitates good judgment. Now, come to this segment. That critical thinking comprises of 4 different elements. First element says that thinking that analyzes the thinking, that is the critical thinking. Second segment says thinking that assesses thinking, that is critical thinking. Third element says that thinking that combats its native egocentricity, that is the critical thinking. And fourth one, that is thinking that develops within itself intellectual habits. So when we comprise these all 4 elements, we come to the main, that is critical thinking is disciplined, self-guided thinking aimed at living a well-reasoned life. Let's come to the first of our burning question. How does it improve teaching learning? How does, that means critical thinking, how it makes a role to improve teaching learning of our students in the school? Now, does questioning improve students' critical thinking skill? Again, a question is here. So here you have to see the last line, that is, does questioning improve students' critical thinking skill? Are you agree?
No, sir.
Let us discuss it first, something related to my last line, then ultimately you will be able to give answer. One of the result, what I am showing in my screen, that is the critical thinking mind is equal to the educated mind. So definitely this statement says that if we think critically a situation with concrete understanding, that definitely the things becoming in the mind of the educated people. So the educated mind definitely says the same thing what the critical thinking mind said. So be proceeding. Now, what are the strategies to promote critical thinking skills in our school? So what main points are here? Make lesson plans that include thinking skills. Ask thought-provoking questions such as how do you know, why, etc. How, why, etc. should be added in the question pattern. Call on student to tell what they understand. Then connect the lesson to students' experiences and ask students to summarize the lesson creatively. Asking question, I am coming to once again to one of the last line what I have said in the last second last slide, that is asking question is the heart of critical thinking. So friend, here what your answer is there. I don't know. If you are saying no, then maybe some other reason would be, but as per my slide says, asking question is the heart of the critical thinking. Questioning to develop critical thinking requires student to, first one, raise issues. Second, discover ideas and things. Third, pursue problematic areas. Fourth, seek clarity and relevance of idea. And fifth, find evidence and make conclusions. So definitely these points when student apply in order to solve the problem. So these questioning will definitely develop the students' knowledge and behavior. Now let us do one activity related to critical thinking. It is showing on my screen one of the activity, that is example related to critical thinking. Woman goes for a haircut at hair cutting salon. The hairdresser asks her what brand of shampoo she uses. She then puts some of her hairs under a microscope and shows her that there is a white film on the hairs. He recommends that she buys the store's brand of shampoo rather than the one she has been using. Now friends, think about this activity and the question again showing in the last line. What are some good questions to ask herself about this situation? Please point out any question if in your mind. You keep it here.
Sir, may I ask question? May I put the question, sir?
Definitely.
Sir, may I put the question?
Yes.
Sir, why she should believe that hairdresser, that she should buy that only shampoo? Reason to believe. Why should she believe it?
Okay, this is one of the this type of question comes in the mind and she must ask these questions to herself about the situation. So I am showing you you what are the expected questions would be. The possible questions are, will the same film be there with all samples given the source is? The second, is the film result of the sample or of something else entirely? Number three, is there anything negative about having that film on my hair that can only be seen with a microscope? And number four, to what extent do we ask these type of questions of ourselves in similar context? So these are the possible questions to the given context or given activity. Similar different kinds of questions are coming in our mind. So let us categorize what kind of questions are in the non-critical thinking category and what are the questions comes under the critical thinking category. So I am proceeding. So how do you help students now learn the skills needed to form clear probing questions? So what kind of questions students to develop the skill? In order to get the answer, we should stick with the instructional strategies that student or anyone can apply. So, what did we do today? Let us proceed. You can EI. So, in order to get the question, you should think this thing in our mind. First, state in your own word what someone else had said or written or key concept, problem or question at issue. Second, elaborate on your statement, in other words. Number three, exemplify. That means give an example of the concept from your life and from the content. And fourth one, now illustrate. That means you can illustrate the problem by creating an analogy, by using some graph, using some chart, that is chart paper or cartoons, etc. So definitely we will come to the benefit of critical thinking. What are the benefits? First, we are in academic performance, we are taking one of the, that is well demanding critical thinking idea in our academic performance. So first one, understand the arguments and beliefs of others. Number two, critically evaluating those arguments and beliefs. Number three, develops and defends one's own well-supported arguments and beliefs. This is equally useful for us also. Now second, at workplace, help us to reflect and get a deeper understanding of our own and others' decisions. Number two, encourage open-mindedness to change. Number three, adjust, that it helps us in being more analytical in solving problems. Now, third is in daily life, what are the benefits? Helps us to avoid making foolish personal decisions. Number two, promotes an informed and concerned citizenry capable of making good decisions on important social, political, and economic issues. Number three, adds in the development of autonomous thinkers capable of examining their assumptions, dogma, prejudices. So we shall definitely we discuss segment wise now. Proceeding. Once again, but if we want to get benefit of this critical thinking, definitely we have to overcome the barriers. And what the common barriers are here? Let's come to the barriers of critical thinking. So, if critical thinking is so important, why is that uncritical thinking is so common? Second is, why is that people find critical thinking so difficult? So we shall answer. We try to find answer of this question if we able to differentiate non-critical thinking and critical thinking. So we are proceeding to the barriers first. What the barrier number one? Lack of relevant background information. Number two, poor reading skills. Number three, poor listening skills. Number four, biasing. Number four, prejudice. Then next, superstition. Then next, egocentrism. Then sociocentrism. Then peer pressure. Then mindless conformism. Then mindless non-conformism. Next, provincialism. Next is narrow-mindedness and closed-mindedness. Next, distrust of reason, then stereotyping, then unwarranted assumptions and stereotypes, then relativistic thinking, then scapegoating, then rationalization, then wishful thinking, then short-term thinking, then selective perception, that is attention. Then next is selective memory. Next is overpowering emotions. Next is self-deception. Next is face saving and fear of change. So these are the barriers. And if you see them one by one, definitely you may find these are the hurdles in order to think critically. And they plays the negative role in your critical thinking steps. So main barriers are the powerful barriers. First is egocentrism. What is that? If you see it is self-centered thinking, definitely you are egocentrism. Now sociocentrism, that is already indicated here in the slide also. That is group-centered thinking. That is biasing is here. Next is unwarranted assumptions. That means beliefs that are presumed to be true without adequate evidence or justifications. Next is wishful thinking. That believing that something is true because one wishes it, but that truth is just a matter of opinion. And last one is showing that is relativistic thinking. That means that relativistic thinking shows that subjectivism and cultural relativism is there in the thinking. So come to the characteristics of overthinker. If you are a critical thinker, definitely you should see these questions and answer yourself. Are you open-minded about other people's views? You may find the answer in your, if you think it, in your own. It is, are you honest to yourself or others when you are wrong? Number 3, do you have the courage and passion to take initiative and confront problems and meet challenges? Number 4, are you aware of your own biases and preconceptions? Next, do you welcome criticism from others? And one of the burning question is there, do you have independent opinions that are not afraid of disagree? Sometimes then what happens, we are going to be disagree in a context when someone is saying maybe your opinion are not matching with that people. So you may be different, you may have the different opinion. If you answer these things in your own view, you may get correct answer. Now, so after getting the answer to these things, you can summarize what actually the critical thinking is, what are the types, what thinking is, what are the benefits of critical thinking is, what are the barriers of critical thinking is, and what are the characteristics of a critical thinker. So the last slide before to this decides whether you are a critical thinker or non-critical thinker, in which category you are. So this was shared by us in that meeting, in that webinar, and here I find pleasure myself to share this view here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sir, for your nice presentation and sharing valuable and important points, especially the important parts of life skill, that is critical thinking. Now I request BK Singh Sir to please come and share your learning and give your presentation. BK Singh Sir. Hello. BK Singh Sir. BK Singh Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Is my screen visible to all? Sir, my screen is visible.
No, sir.
No, sir. No.
Yes, it's okay now, sir. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Respected Principal Madam and all my dear colleagues. I attended webinar. My voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, audible.
Thank you, madam. So I attended a webinar conducted by COE Patna, and resource person was Namita Agrawal. It was conducted on 9th July from 11 to 12 noon. And the topic was interpersonal relationships. As P.K. Misra sir told, the definition of life skill, what are life skills? Once again, just in order to remind, because when CCE education system was there in the school, so many workshops were conducted in the school, and even different workshops we attended. So just for revision, I want to discuss here that life skills are behaviors that enables individuals to adopt and deal effectively with the demands and challenges of life. And as Misra sir told that 10 life skills have been identified as core life skills by WHO. So those 10 life skills have been put under three basic life skills. And three basic life skills are here: thinking skills, social skills, and emotional skills. Thinking skills have 5 skills, core skills, as self-awareness, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, and problem solving. And social skills have 3 sub skills: communication skills, interpersonal relationship, empathy, and emotional skills, coping with stress, coping with emotion. I attended a webinar on this life skill, interpersonal relationship. So first, before just moving to the next slide, I would like to explain a little bit what is interpersonal relationship. An interpersonal relationship is a strong, deep or close association or acquaintances between two or more people that may range in duration from brief to enduring. The context can vary from family or kinship relations, friendship, marriage relations, with associates, work, clubs, neighborhoods, and place of worship. So different just places, we have different kind of relationships. And one of the most distinctive aspect of human beings is that we are social beings. So whether we are just confined to our house, or we are at our workplace or somewhere in the society, we have just by nature, we are social beings, social human beings, social animals, and we always just feel comfortable living in the group, living with the people. And interpersonal relationships are have been the core of our social system since the dawn of civilization. Since beginning, when the civilization started, people could be seen in just animal forms living in groups. Just I told that what is interpersonal relationship. Interpersonal relationships refer to reciprocal social and emotional interactions between two or more individuals in an environment. So for just interpersonal relationship, at least two or more than two people are required to share same kind of emotion or interaction. An interpersonal relationship is defined as a close association between individuals who share common interests and goals. If common goals are shared, certainly the relationship can be little bit strong. If common goal or common interest is not shared, that relationship may or may not just long for many years. And what are the dynamics of interpersonal relationship? It is dyad, triad, or group. What are these? Dyad. A dyad consists of two interacting people. It is the simplest of the three interpersonal dynamics. One person release and the other listen. It is one of the most unstable interpersonal dynamic. The interaction ends when one constituent of the dyad refuses to listen or share his or her message. Because only two are there who are having interaction or any kind of conversation. If one refuses, certainly this one relationship can't go further. It is also one of the most intimate interpersonal dynamics, as the focus of listening and communication is centered on only one person. So we can say that this kind of interpersonal relationship certainly is more intimate, closer in comparison to triad and group. What is triad? A triad consists of three interaction people. The members engage in the relay and reception of thoughts and ideas. It is more stable than the dyad. Why? Because as the third members may act as a mediator when there is conflict between the other two. When only two are there, if any conflict arises, if any conflict is there, certainly no any mediator would be there to resolve their problems. A group consists of more than 3 members and is a collection of triads and dyads. It is the most stable form of interpersonal relationship. Most stable because in a group there is not much demand, there is not much expectation from each and everyone. So certainly that can be just a common sharing platform, and people can share, people can just suggest someone, but certainly this kind of relationship is not much intimate, very much close. And what is the purpose of interpersonal relationship? For personal growth and development, source of enjoyment, sense of security, context of understanding interpersonal needs, and stabilizing personal identity. So certainly when we just have such kind of relationships, we can share, we can suggest, we can just take suggestions for our personal growth and development, and certainly we recreate, entertain, and we feel a little bit enjoyment. Sense of security is also there when we are just with our friends, we are in a group, and interpersonal needs are also there, because as we know that without need, without demand, without grievances, certainly we just hardly develop any kind of relationship. Types of interpersonal relationships, these are many, as friendship, family kinship, professional relationship, marriage, casual relationships. Casual relationships, it means not much expectations, not very close, brotherhood and sisterhood, and acquaintances, familiar by this way or that way, known to. Friendship, theories of friendship emphasize the concept as a freely chosen association where individuals develop a common ground of thinking, behaving when they enter into the relationship by including mutual love, trust, respect, and unconditional acceptance for each other. I think this is not a new term, friendship. This is known. Family and kinship, family communication patterns establish role, identify, enable personal and social growth of individual. Family relationship can get distorted if an unresolved conflict between members. So how a family runs, how it controlled, how everyone's interests taken in account of that patent. And professional relationship, individual working for the same organization are said to share a professional relationship, are called colleagues. Colleagues may or may not like each other, but we have to live in this kind of relationship. We may, as in the family also, we may not just like each and every family member, but we try to tolerate, we try to adjust. Same with the case with our neighbors. Maybe we may not like the way they just walk, they behave, they talk, but we just develop a kind of mutual understanding and we try to adjust and live. This one is known, the informalized intimate relationship characterized by passion, intimacy, trust, and respect is called love. Now I should just move to the next. Marriage, I think, known to each and everyone. Marriage is a formalized, intimate relationship or a long-term relationship where two individuals decide to enter into wedlock and stay together lifelong after knowing each other well. Brotherhood and sisterhood. Acquaintances. An acquaintance is a relationship where someone is simply known to someone by introduction or by a few interactions. There is an absence of close relationship and the individuals lack in depth personal information about others. This could also be a beginning of a future close relationship. And what are the barriers of interpersonal relationships? Situational barriers, personal barriers, and socio-cultural barriers. First, coming to the barriers of interpersonal relationship and method of overcoming these barriers. Personal barriers, just I talked about this one. Personal barriers, gender variation maybe, and lack of honesty and trust. In interpersonal relationship, gender must to be given due consideration. Okay, we should not be biased. Just there should not be any kind of gender biasness. Then only a healthy relationship can be developed. And lack of honesty and trust. Honesty and trust must be maintained while establishing and building interpersonal relationship. These are the part of personal barriers. Lack of compatibility between the individual involved in interpersonal relations must be ensured. Feeling of insecurity, a sense of security must be ensured between the people involved in an interpersonal relationship. Ineffective communication is also a kind of barrier. Effective communication is a key aspect of efficient interpersonal relationship. Therefore, effective communication must be ensured. If effective communication is not there, that can create obstacle and distorted self-concept. Individuals involved in interpersonal relationship must have a sound self-concept and positive self-esteem. Lack of flexibility. We just sometimes not very flexible in our opinion. We don't just try to adjust according to the opinion of others, just like two watches, because we own wisdom in our own intelligence that I am right, and we don't try to adjust our opinion according to others. The two watches, they believe in them, each believe in them, and they don't try to adjust the time according to others. Lack of respect for others' rights. A mutual sense of respect must be ensured by the people involved in personal and professional relationship. And fear of rejection is there, no doubt. Fear of rejection due to that the kind of relationship, healthy relationship is not developed, and it must be eliminated between the individual involved in a relationship. Personal barriers, another description barrier is here, pre-existing psychiatric problem. As method of overcome barriers of this one, skill therapeutic communication is required to interact with individuals suffers from psychiatric or personality problems, and then according to their level, in that context the conversation should go on. And what is situational barrier? Complex interacting setting. The individuals must try to make the interaction setting simple, familiar, and must make the other person feel important. Adverse environmental situation, lack of territoriality, high density of individuals. Special care must be taken while developing a relationship between individuals of diversified territories, high density or interaction in adverse environmental situation, and lack of distance, lack of time, because people living far away from here, though we have just different sources to communicate, but certainly this doesn't just go longer. Even in an organization, individuals must spend quality time with their co-workers to strengthen the bond between them. And socio-cultural barriers, cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, social diversity. These are, and how we can overcome. Individual can try to overcome cultural diversity to trying to enhance the 4 primary factors that decide interaction patterns, such as openness, trust, owing, and risk of experiment. Language diversity is also one kind of a barrier, socio-cultural barrier. Individuals must try to enhance interpersonal communication skills, such as maintaining good eye contact, appropriate body language, listening with patience, etc. So certainly some parts of communication skills have been included here to develop a good interpersonal relationship. And above all, just I want to say that for a good interpersonal relationship, we must have control over our anger and our ego. Then only we can have a good relationship with others. Because as I feel that anger is not just natural, it is just created. It is just seeing the person who is with you, who is in front of you, anger just comes. In the family, even when we just generally become angry, seeing the just smaller children sometimes. And when it comes to the elder one, we just try to control our anger. We don't just show our anger. And ego, some people just get confused between ego and self-respect. So ego is what? Self-respect. I can do this. So many people are able to do this, and I am also one of them. I can also do in a very good way. And ego, I can only do this. I can just know the best way to do, no one else. That is the ego. So if we are able to control our ego and anger, certainly we can have a very good interpersonal relationship. Thank you. That was the last slide.
Thank you, Singh sir, for your nice presentation, because you have very nicely presented very important part of life skill, interpersonal relationship, and particularly in this pandemic situation, COVID-19, we must have to develop this interpersonal relationship, particularly we teachers have to develop relation with our students, parents, and it is very important in our family life also, because most of the time we stay at home nowadays. So now I request our last presenter, but not least, Mrs. Menka Madam, you come and
Yes, sir.
give your presentation. Welcome, Madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. BK Singh, sir, is he has not yet stopped the presentation, I think.
Okay, madam. Stopped, madam.
Yes, sir. My screen is visible. If anyone can see.
Yes, madam, visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Honorable Principal, ma'am, and respected teachers, I welcome you all once again in another session of life skills. And I would first thank Principal, ma'am, to give me opportunity to attend this CBSE online training workshop. And now I'm going to share my learning based on the topic empathy. This definition of life skills already shared here with my two senior teachers. Life skills are abilities for adaptive and positive behavior. I would like to elaborate this line, that what does it mean by adaptive and positive behavior? Adaptive means that a person is flexible in approach and is able to adjust in different circumstances. And positive implies that a person is forward looking and even in different situations can find a ray of hope and opportunities to find solution. This is life skills. Actually, life skills is, it means jeene ki kala. If our children and students learn these skills and inculcate these skills in his or her life, then definitely we teachers will be proud of them, and our children will learn not only to earn in their life but also to live, to lead the life happily. So this life skills was that is why it was introduced in our curriculum, that we should not only focus to our scholastic area but also to the co-scholastic area, which covers these life skills, and all these three skills we have already seen. This life skills, it covers thinking, social and emotional. So I would start my topic simply, that is empathy. It is one of the social skill which is important to be developed among our students. So what is empathy? How would we define this? It is the ability to imagine what life is like for another person. It means that we don't have to act according to our self-interest. If we act and behave according to our self-interest and we are not able to understand others' feelings, then we lack empathy. And empathy can also help us to accept others who may be very different from others. And it also means to have a successful relationship with our loved ones and society at large. We need to understand and care about people's needs, desires, and feelings. What does it line mean? It means empathy can help to encourage empathy can help to encourage nurturing behavior towards people in need of care and assistance. As the case which we can give example of now, this COVID-19 pandemic, and my resource person was Shri Sibu B. Raju, Principal, Holy Mary International School, Darbhanga, Bihar. And what sir has shared one example of now COVID-19 pandemic. And if we have this empathy towards these corona sufferers, as it is said that corona patients, we need to maintain physical distancing or social distancing. So how can we show this empathy towards them? In a time when people are practicing social distancing, self-isolation and quarantine, it's all too easy to learn to turn inward and focus solely on ourselves or our family unit. But research suggests that caring about others is one of the best ways to fight feelings of isolation and show empathy. So this is the situation, a very good example we can give to our children, that how can we show this empathy towards these corona patients in nowadays situation. Now my next slide shows that empathy is more than sympathy. Sympathy, I would rather say that empathy is more important than sympathy. Sympathy is a feeling of care and concern for someone, often someone close. And sympathy, unlike empathy, does not involve a shared perspective or shared emotions. It is about feeling sorry for someone, but empathy is understanding others' pain. Empathy is understanding others' pain. It also means to put yourself into others' shoes. It means that we have to imagine ourselves in the situation or circumstances of another person so as to understand or empathize with their opinion or point of view. Now, one example which Sir has shared with us, we can very easily give example of parent-child relationship. If we want to explain our children how to show empathy, what is empathy, we can give definitions, but if we cite some examples, they will definitely be able to understand clearly. So very easily we can give the example of parent-child relationship. Now, how does we show empathy towards our children? A parent who is well attuned to their child's inner emotions, emotional world, develops a secure parent-child attachment, which is critical for the emotional and psychological health of our children. Children learn empathy both from watching us and from experiencing our empathy for them. When we empathize with our children, they develop trusting, secure attachments with us. These attachments are key to their wanting to adopt our values and to model our behavior. So in this way, we are showing if we or the parents show empathy towards their children, definitely the children would also learn this behavior and they will develop these skills. Empathizing with our children takes many forms, including tuning into their physical and emotional needs, understanding and respecting their individual personalities. So in this way, we can cite many examples. Can anybody cite any other example which we can share with our children? How to show empathy among children? How to show empathy in the society? So that we can better explain this topic, better explain how to develop this skill. Hello? Anyone, please?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am, you
Menka.
are audible.
May I say something, Menka?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
On that day when I attended the workshop on 15th of July, so there's the researcher said that sympathy and empathy, little bit difference is there. Sympathy means suppose a beggar is sitting on the road and we are passing by the roadside and just saying that, oh, see, the beggar is so poor, he is not having food, and we pass away without helping the person. So that is sympathy. But if we are providing some foods and clothes to the beggar, so that becomes empathy. So empathy means, as you said, that feeling pain of others and helping the person, right? Helping the person in all the way which he requires. That is empathy. And sympathy means only feeling is there that yes, he is poor, he needs help. So this way the resource person explained it.
Yes, sympathy means only to feel sorry about others, only having that feeling. But sympathy and empathy means what step we have taken to improve their situation, and we can only do if we keep ourselves in their situation. So this way we can give different examples. Now, one activity which we have done that day is, all of you please try to lift yourself with your hands. Try to lift yourself with your hands. Can you lift yourself? can we lift ourselves with our hands?
No, that will be a physical fitness exercise. That can be when we are doing yoga, that when we are putting both the hands together on the ground and the whole body is lifted. That's physical fitness. In terms of empathy, if we are coming, then,
Yes, ma'am.
then
We
you
are
may
able
say.
to do.
Hmm.
It is very simple activity we can means give to children, and they may easily understand that God has given us these two hands not to lift up, ourselves but to lift up others. So we must lend helping hands, and we can lend this helping hand only if we have that empathy towards among us. So what are the role of teachers and schools? How can we develop this empathy, one of the social skill among children? Now this topic was discussed, this slide was shown only. We have to understand that unless until we are showing empathetic behavior towards our children, we cannot expect, or we cannot ensure that children are also developing that skill. So first of all, we must have these skills. So what are the, sorry, sorry ma'am, 1 second. So this role of teachers and schools should provide an environment where students can develop the ability to see relationship between subjects content and skills, as well as between school and life outside of the classroom. So this is the first point. Our school should provide an environment where students can develop the ability to see relationship between subjects content and skills. So rather than only delivering our subjects, if we correlate our topics with these skills, not only empathy, if we give any type of assignments, if we assign assignments and projects based on these life skills, then definitely they will be able to correlate with the subject topics with its skills. For example, if I take example of science, if we take example of science, and if we give the topic, the activity of group discussion or debate or role play, brainstorms, storytelling, drama. So suppose in science we are giving the group discussion, what skills they can develop? These with the topic of group discussions, they can, if we suppose we had the debate, and we have given the topic Indian migrant workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this was not only the debate competition, rather it has developed many skills. I'm not only talking about, so the slide is visible.
Not now. Yes.
Okay, so these activity we are conducting in nowadays situation. Suppose online debate we have conducted, and I have just chosen one topic. So this topic not only conducted this debate, but also developed some other skills. Can anyone share with me what other skills the children have learned with these competitions? Suppose the speech competition or a poem recitation or anything, a debate, and this was one of our topic. What other skills? What are the
improvement of vocabulary? Improvement of vocabulary skill?
Okay, sir. All right. Any other?
Ma'am, they also learn, ma'am, communication skills when they
Yes.
participate in such kind of programs or activities.
They develop the communication skill.
Communication skills, yes.
that is one of
problem solving, decision making, problem solving. If you take the example of this green club, you have
Yes.
given them the project of planting a tree, or you have given them the project of, for example, Mango Day celebration was there. You know that every part of the environment is equally important. You have empathy towards nature because you are
Yes.
feeling the plant's feeling of the plant. I would like to say that sympathy is feeling the pain of others and empathy is feeling the feel of others. उसके अंदर की हर भावना को, चाहे वो मानसिक हो चाहे वो शारीरिक हो, हर भावना को समझना empathy. So when you are giving them any such kind of project, students
Yes.
know that how to solve the problem, how to take the decision, how to critically think over this, and how to be creative, how to be empathetic. So one single project can compile all the life skills. That is called application of learning.
Yes, ma'am, and they become self-aware also. If the children are not submitting, they are not aware of this. Why we are celebrating 1 Mahotsav? They are not aware of the environmental issues. Then simply sending this mono act videos and all does not reach the motive. Plantation, that is why we have given plantation, so that they can become aware of that, why we have to plant the saplings, why we have to plant a tree. So they have to become self-aware. So any activity we are giving that not only develops empathy but also develops all these life skills, this was discussed in my workshop. And if we give role plays in English or any other subjects, definitely they will develop effective communication, they will develop interpersonal relationship. And if we give group discussions and storytelling, they can develop effective communication and empathy also. Now this slide also, third point is given, coordinate with parents. In order to develop these life skills among children, we have to coordinate with parents. It is not only that we are giving activities, and if we come to know that this child lacks some life skills, we have to talk with the parents, we have to discuss with them that we have that whether they are also trying to understand the child's problem and try to improve his or her behavior or skills. And last is we have to act as role models. If we as a teacher can tap into our own experiences to find a way to understand what the student is feeling or to remember a time when we felt something similar. We were also students and sometimes we used to think that why this teacher is not able to understand my feeling, my problems, and the child was not able, we were not able to share anything. So we must not provide that type of a situation or conditions to the children or environment to the children. Rather, we have to see that they develop the wholesome personality, means the whole life skills. We must have effective communication with students and eventually try to solve these issues. Now, one key message was given that in order to develop these skills, select relevant and age-appropriate content, identify the life skills to be focused and enhanced. Maybe it may differ in different students that the lack of life skills. So we have to identify. And identify curricular as well as co-curricular activities that have the potential for developing skill application ability. So at last, one beautiful thought was given. It is not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. And one more example, what I was thinking during the celebration of Kargil Vijay Divas, that instead of showing the sympathetic behavior, sympathetic attitude towards the soldiers, we may show the empathy towards the soldiers. And what we can do for these soldiers, that is empathy towards them. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Menka madam, for your nice presentation. And I hope all of our colleagues must have learned the important points from your presentation. Now I want to say that this main purpose of this in-house session, actually when the session is conducted by CBSE, we all teachers, we cannot participate from the same institute. In every topic, just one or two teachers participate, and the purpose of this in-house session and also guideline of CBSE that all other teachers should share the knowledge through the in-house session in the school. And it is our responsibility now to take the message practically to the classroom. Of course, not now it is in the practical classroom, through online classes also. We should share the knowledge, experience that we learn from the workshop presented by our participants with our students. So now I earnestly request to all our dear colleagues to take the benefit, provide the benefit so that our students will be benefited. And life skill is always important parts of our life. And especially I would like to thank to Principal Madam for taking this initiative and providing this great opportunity so that every teacher of our school can learn each and every